applied to chapter 64 on docks, it was no treated lumber can be used, only untreated tropical hardwoods. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, I never saw that anywhere other than in our code. So I was researching it all day. Mike Chaffee continues to look. We'll have to see. I think that's not necessarily the case. Regardless, we're going to take out that one sentence on materials from 183 because it really doesn't need to be there. 183, when it talks about docks, really addresses policy and the process that a person has to go through if they're thinking about building a dock.
So 183, you want to take out then, it's
Take
pressure
out-
treated, what?
Take out 14G2.
G12.
Is it G12?
Yes, yeah, it's 14 G12.
I don't have it in front of me, I just wrote it down, maybe I
Yeah.
forgot one thing.
And what, that is about the what,
About
right?
the pressure treated lumber.
And we're taking that out.
We're just gonna take that out. And we may, if it turns out that, as I told you, I'll say for the record, 1983, they changed the chemical composition of treated lumber. It used to be called CCA, the A was arsenic, and they changed it. And clearly, the arsenic in any piece of treated lumber was not something you want to put into the environment, and so that's where that whole thing came, that treated lumber is toxic. And I think it's no longer required, the new treated lumber is not toxic. That's why they did it. So I think that's no longer required. I couldn't find it in the state code, town of Brookhaven code, but it's very hard. That's how I got started on this whole stupid project in the first place. It's hard to find anything in the state code and Brookhaven codes because they're so enormous.
14 G12 on page 23.
G12, okay, got it, 12. So that'll be, so anyway, so in the short run, concentrating on 183, we're going to remove that, and so there's no conflict. In the longer term, we may amend chapter 64, because if you require somebody to use these exotic tropical hardwoods, you're talking about a huge increase in price. That's a big deal. So if it's not part of the code, I don't think we need to do it, especially if we're confident that we're not harming the environment. I think it was somebody being overzealous. I wasn't involved in any of that stuff. I don't know who and whether that was indeed the case, because it may turn out it's not in the code. If it's still in the code, we're good because we still have the 64.
Okay, so that's the only changes, and then there was also some kind of changes with the lettering, right?
With the what?
Numbering or the lettering, did you
Yes.
say? Okay,
Yes, and Roger was correct about that. I checked that. I don't know how that happened. So we just have to change it so that it's sequential.
okay, and, all right, and did the ZBA board, was that changed to 7 people? Does
Yes.
anyone know?
We have to change that.
It was changed, or it
No,
has
it
to
was
be?
not. He's correct on that one. I
Okay.
actually didn't know that at the time that I was, that's right in the beginning. I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
oh, it is, okay, I thought that.
But did you want me to bring up the whole thing about his, about the planning board? Oh, was it the planning board or the board of appeals that you suggested that get involved?
Planning board.
The planning board.
The planning board, that's okay. So, I don't feel that,
It needs to
This-
get back to them.
it's
I
gonna
don't
take
either.
forever for us to get anything done, and it's already taking a very long time
Mhm.
for us to get this done. And I think it falls on the responsibility of the board to do this kind of stuff and then take comments from people, and that's what we can do. And really, the comments have been constructive.
Mhm.
We have gotten good comments and we've integrated them, but there's, every time I read this, I find another little something that could be tweaked. And at some point, we have to move forward.
Yeah, I think it's gonna delay it, and the only thing they really can talk about is whether we do the pressure treated wood or not, so we already know, we're just gonna.
We'll
wait to
know,
see.
by the next meeting, we'll know whether or not that appears in any other code than ours.
Okay. All right, was there any other comments from people about changes, or that was it? Okay. Did you guys have anything? Okay. Okay. All right, local law 113, which we have a public hearing on tonight too. I'm sure you saw the whole discussion about the ice cream there.
But now we got Girl Scouts too.
Yeah, so that, you know,
Yeah, but wasn't that written in, did I read it wrong? I thought that was, those people were excluded.
Unless, except if there's a commercial transaction.
And it is.
So if you're selling cookies and taking money, that's a commercial transaction. And they would have to apply for a permit. So a Girl Scout going door to door would have to have a $25
well, I think we should have one of
That's a lot
I
our,
think what you said was that if they knew the people, they would.
That's what I was wondering, if they're not going to everybody in the village, but just
going
friends
to friends and family.
with people they know, is that
Well,
considered
as I
soliciting the
texted-
village?
I
Well,
texted
who goes
the-
around selling door to door anymore?
I've never had.
We
it.
have to figure out the language and stick to it, because I guarantee you, somebody will have a problem with it, a complaint. We had complaints about the ice cream man. So,
What about
the
Girl Scouts that live in the village?
Commies.
you can't, I'm sorry?
People that, like, they live in the village. The ice
Well, I
cream
think there
man
has to
doesn't-
just be some kind of
verbiage. that-
verbiage in here that says that nonprofit, or, well, I don't know how to, we could just name it, the Girl Scouts or
NIPERG
Boy
comes around
Scouts.
every summer, NIPERG. The kids from NIPERG, they have like a summer job, and they come around and they canvass on some environmental issue, and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
ask for donations. and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So, it's a good cause, it's an invitation, but, you know, you deal with it, whatever, but, are we gonna say that, I mean, they're a not-for-profit,
Mhm.
but they're also asking for money,
They were.
so, do they fall into this, and how do we feel about that?
I just feel like the phrasing here, it kind of gets everyone out of it, and then we put them back into it. If you look on page 8, this chapter, so we mentioned exemptions, in this exemptions piece. And it almost feels like, why is this even exemptions? Because in one minute you're granting exemptions, but then you're taking them away in the next sentence. So, this chapter also shall not apply to any duly organized charitable, religious, lodge, benevolent, blah, 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 nor to a local community group or organization such as, and they give these, you give these examples. But then we have, in the event such organizations or individuals are involved in commercial transactions or soliciting funds, a license. Why do we have that, statement? Why is that there to discount the exemption?
Why don't we just take that line
If
out?
we just take that line out, it's covered.
You should take out the first line and the last one.
Well, here's the thing, it's kind of like when we have building permits, we say, well, so that we know that you're doing it, and we can have somebody be inspecting or whatever. If they apply for the permit, yes, there's money involved, but it also, we know that somebody is gonna be going around. So we may
Yeah, but
wanna.
how many times are people coming through as charitable, who are we trying to get rid of? We're trying to get rid
NIPERG
of.
is in.
We're trying to get rid of
We're
people
trying to
going
get
door to
rid
door.
of
Salespeople.
the exterminator.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
businesses,
Right.
these sort of, with no benefit to the local community, right?
Right.
And then here you have all these people that are supposedly not applicable. Well, then that whole then there's no exemptions. How can you possibly be exempted from this law? Why is there a chapter on exemptions
Well,
if you
because
can't
you
be
could be a
exempted?
religious organization going door to door to talk about your religion or something, but not asking for money.
Right, so as long as you're not asking for
Or-
money, but that's the only group that would be, so.
Well, the political organizations too,
Right,
that
they're
go
just asking for
around
signatures.
giving out flyers or signatures, they're
right.
not asking for money. But I just think.
But I
we
think we're
should take that-
handcuffing the charitable organizations here.
Right.
They're
I think we
getting
should get rid of
handcuffed
that
into
sentence.
the- Yeah, I think we should.
On the irritation meter, I would say that some of them are more irritating than some.
Well,
some just
but then the
asking-
solution is also.
I'm not interested in why.
Again.
If you don't have thin mints, don't come to my house.
If I can.
Put the no solicitation sign in your yard, like,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know, there's ways
If I
around
can-
it.
If I can say something on that? You wipe out the first line, first sentence, you wipe out the last sentence.
Right.
After candidate, and then you add a no solicit list.
yeah, but
What
that
would
could
be
be.
on that?
Then we'd have to keep changing it.
Right, how general or specific would that
And then
be?
it's making that
Everybody
decision.
that does not want to be solicited must come to the.
Oh, the people.
Sign up for a
Oh,
no
that's in there.
solicit.
But that's in here, right?
Yeah.
That's already in.
Yeah,
I think that's great too.
But you know, I'll use Jennifer Steele as an example. She has a sign up. I'm sure she doesn't care if someone comes to sell her Girl Scout cookies.
Right.
Right, so I think that this is perfect, let's take out the first line and the last line. Okay. Now, the ice cream man, forget it, that's turned into a whole, I didn't know that many people could be up at 10 o'clock at night writing about the ice cream man on Facebook.
You know that's the big one.
The bells are ringing.
I mean, the bells, that was.
That was Susie, yeah.
It's 9 o'clock though.
I very rarely hear anyone.
You really think she woke up at 9 o'clock.
To the ice cream man?
No, it took, well, she
He was
was,
parked out front at 9 o'clock.
he was across the street at the kid's house in the summer, and it woke her up. But she was on Facebook last night at 10 o'clock, just defending the ice cream man.
Well, there is again, the time limit on here, so that's resolved.
Right, so, the time limit is what she has the issue with, where was that?
It was dusk,
Dusk.
it was
This
sunset,
is a half hour.
plus a half hour.
So I think that's reasonable.
I mean, if you
Not in
wanted to
winter.
really nail it down, you could just say sunset, not give that extra half hour.
I don't
Can't do
think
that in the
that,
winter.
I don't think that he comes that late
I don't
anyway,
think
at
so.
least not on our side, I mean,
I've never seen them.
My house at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so I don't worry about that.
yeah, okay. It's usually like 5, 6 o'clock, so.
I don't know, I love it, I absolutely, there's no reason to me, I don't get it, it's so nostalgic. The kids love
Sometimes
it.
we eat ice cream before dinner.
Get some,
Plus, it made a lot of money.
And she's sitting here eating lemon
That's
square.
from-
baseball,
I know, right?
And their
motherhood
friends-
and apple pie.
Yeah.
Friends
And
when the ice
carrot
cream man
cake.
comes in.
Yeah,
People eat childhoods, they really do.
Yeah, Jack, what are you treating?
You can't jump over that fence fast enough.
All right, and then on 35, which we're gonna approve next month too, we don't have a public hearing that tonight, but the only thing that we were changing was that the for sale signs only had to be 5 feet off the property instead of 25, is that correct?
And to be in conformance with the town of Brookhaven, there was a section on political ads, political signs, which we obviously have.
Okay.
Eat cannolis?
Keep chewing.
Guys eat cannolis.
And anyone else have any, if you read it, but I think that was the only change that we had on the
Could
front.
you just check, there's two different sections in here
Which one are you
on
on?
vending. One says the regulations are from
Are
9
you on
AM
Cadillac?
to dusk,
Yeah,
but then on page 8, no vending vehicle should operate before 10 AM or after 10 PM.
oh, that's what she was talking about,
So
okay.
where is that then?
Page 8,
So we should change it from the,
Make it just conform with wherever we stated it earlier, right? Isn't it?
right, or just take out H,
Or just take that H.
right? We're okay if we take out H? Yeah.
Because where's the other time?
Well, what about when we have like a movie night? and
Yeah,
Special events,
yeah,
we invite
10
them
to
to
10.
come in and the hours like that.
Well, they're not going door to door. This is really for someone.
That's a
to look at
hire.
people.
It's a hiring, not
Yeah.
just a
And they're not
But
birthday
this
party.
is, yeah, but in this section, it's not vending
Yeah,
vehicle.
page 5, 113.5A.
Yeah, 113.5A, all activity must be conducted on weekdays and Saturdays. Why are we excluding Sunday? Is there any reason why that's specifically set out? Weekdays and Saturdays only,
No,
between the hours of 9 AM and dusk?
Scratch out through Saturday.
just, yeah.
Only between the hours of 9 AM and dusk.
Why don't we just get rid of on weekdays and Saturday
All activity must be
Keep that-
conducted
between the hours of 9 AM and dusk? Bring this up to sunset. But I think in a movie night type of situation, that's not someone going door to door to bother
Right.
people. That's
That's-
just, that's
that's
an
a
event that
hired-
people are coming to.
Right.
Yeah, but
That's-
it doesn't say that.
Yeah, but I
It just
think
says
this
no vending vehicle shall operate between 10 and whatever.
vending
So-
vehicle, but
Right,
there's,
so if we take it all out, that's not a
He's
problem.
not vending.
no, I think that's,
If we
that's
take it ahead
not
of time,
part of
it's
this.
not. But if we have them and we invite them down, and you can imagine somebody, a scenario where somebody has a family party at the beach, or a wedding or something, and they have a truck, and that's done.
Yeah.
They have a truck down there, and people can,
Yeah, of course, you get a
Yeah.
food truck, you can hire anything
Yeah.
for a
right,
Yeah, yeah. You're right, there was a.
But that's catering.
Yeah, I don't think that this
I would
falls under
consider that
peddling.
catering, not
but it's a
vending.
vending vehicle.
No, but I don't think that, I think what this,
Not vending.
I think that this law is for people going door to door.
I think you're making a
That's
mistake.
what it's supposed to be about.
All activities must be conducted on weekdays and, that's a
You gotta
mistake.
hold that until the other meeting is there.
That's a mistake. On a Saturday night, you're gonna call it, on
We'll
a
have to
Saturday night,
digest
you're gonna call it
Okay,
off.
well, you have time, but I think that doesn't fall under it.
Hey guys, that's a mistake. You're gonna call
You
it
gotta
off.
wait.
You gotta wait.
We
yeah.
gotta wait.
Yeah, you gotta get
You
it.
gotta wait until, I don't even know what time it is, because we're o'clock.
And this one, is this, I don't think.
Oh, the clock's hanging in my office.
Oh, okay.
I was waiting for Chris to come
That's a mistake.
meeting so we could hang it.
That's
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
really
change
not,
it.
All right, that's, anything else on that?
No.
Okay, Walnut Beach?
So that's the pole, right?
Yeah.
So we went down there, now I know which pole it is.
Okay.
We wanna move it to the other side.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Did you talk to her, that woman that lives in that house?
No, I did not,
Okay, so.
but I
didn't-
will, I forgot about it.
So,
Well, but she
I
got the
didn't
owner.
wanna have, I didn't wanna,
Yeah,
I don't
Oh,
wanna.
She lives in that one?
no, she lived there, but we
No,
might
she
get
doesn't
the.
live there, but, so I didn't wanna call them to meet with them if I can't tell them exactly where we want. So
Okay.
as soon as she says okay, cause that's really the perfect spot. It
Mhm.
really is, I'm gonna go with safety hazard because that whole thing that's coming out, people are tripping on it.
Sure.
So, more than aesthetics, it's a
Okay.
safety hazard.
Okay.
So, if she's fine with that, then I'll meet them.
Well, bear in mind that the corner is her property,
Yes,
so we would be asking her to allow that.
Yes.
And she could just say, no, just put it. at
She
the
can,
property.
but we're gonna ask her.
we're gonna start with that.
And we had talked about maybe working
Right.
something out, but we want to keep our carts close to our vest.
Yes.
That
Yes,
would be,
yeah.
Heard that retaining wall that runs the length of that property is in utter
Terrible
disrepair.
shape.
Yeah.
And also, I was gonna say, since we were talking about the docks, the decks that are on the water line
Mhm.
off of that property, there's two makeshift ramshackle decks that are, I don't even know how they're still upright. But they're right off of those houses.
One is being repaired, right, or one has been repaired, right?
But there's, I mean, they're just in bad shape over there, and I don't know if they're just gonna break off and fall to the water. Like, that's, at a high tide, they look like they're hanging by a thread. Besides the fact that it's unsightly, but there's a couple that are in pretty bad shape
Yeah.
over there. You know what I'm talking about?
yes, I
right?
do, and it's something that I've been talking informally about, I forgot what I was saying. But I think we should.
I mean, there's a
If we're
stairway
up,
that's coming down that's
put it on
not
the table.
even utilized. That's,
You know, we never really talked about, when we had unsafe buildings and we had maintenance of property codes, we weren't really talking about the beach. The beach was kind of like, I don't know, another place, it was like not seen from the street. But a lot of people walk the beach.
yeah.
And there's like wrecks all over the beach.
Those are the two, that
And we had-
that
there's
stretch right there
unsafe
is
stairs.
really rough there.
That
And there's a stairway there, too.
stairways, and it's just a mess.
Not, and totally unusable,
Yeah.
the one stairway.
Yeah. So we need to think about that, because, you know, it's the same thing that we talked about with the audience up here, is that, well, you know, then they have to be able to do something about it, and then if they can't or won't, then what?
Yeah.
You know, it's.
I think
not
that
easy.
those decks that are there are more a concern for when the high tides do come, all that debris ends up in the water and can damage our mooring field.
Yeah, it's
You know,
navigation.
I just think it's a hazard in that regard. The stairs, they're never gonna get involved with, but the decks are, they pose a threat to the boats. The other thing I was gonna ask about is all the Phragmites that are down there.
Mhm.
Have we ever looked to see if that's native or invasive Phragmite at Walnut in that runoff ditch? Because if it's invasive, then we actually can go in there and we can remove it. So,
Fragmented is invasive.
no, there's three kinds, and there's a one that is native to our area, but more often than not, it is this Australia version that's in there. But if we can get someone to come in and identify that as invasive, then we can actually get in there and that can be cleaned out without, I mean, that's an invasive species, and you can totally clear it out at Walnut Beach. And that would be great, to get that out, and the reason why it's invasive is the rooting system and everything clogs out anything else that wants to grow there that should be there. And if you can get that out, maybe you can get that
Maybe,
space a little bit better.
Why don't you contact the DEC and
Yeah.
see? Okay.
it looks very similar to the non-invasive, or the native, I shouldn't say invasive, the native.
Biologist that was working with us at one point.
Oh, that was a contract,
Yeah.
with the tree study?
With the preserve, and she's.
Yes,
botanist.
she's no longer around. She
Oh.
she
I think she could
she
take.
was on a
that.
grant for a year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll contact you.
All right.
All right, anything else? All right, do I have a motion to close the work session?
Motion?
Second. Get the clock, Joe, it's on your desk, the clock?
Yeah.
You get a new one?
Whoa. I did not put a sign on it donated by the,
Where's the sheet?
Mm-hmm. Should we get that?
Is that here?
And it's in this.